Yeah, for 4 and 20, we've been there for
Hello,
it all.
Max.
Australia's original fan food. Here he is, Marty.
Oh, you'd love a 4 and 20, Max.
I do love a 4 and 20.
Yeah.
Who doesn't?
We used to cut the top off and then put a bit of cheese and bacon in as well.
Oh, my
And
God.
Gee
I
whiz.
just said today.
Yeah.
We talked about that earlier. There's only 25% of people take the top off a pie.
Really?
Yeah.
We're in a pretty elusive group.
We are.
You really are.
Yeah.
It's a small club, but it's a wonderful club.
Now, Marty, before we get into it, Max, I need to issue an apology to you, a public apology.
Okay.
Because last week on my Instagram story,
Oh, no. What have you done?
Oh no.
I put something on there that was in jest.
What did you put on there?
Well, my friend and I, Steph, were
Yeah.
both wearing pink,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And we made a joke about two in,
Okay.
a pink colour.
Oh, two
And
in
then
the pink.
after that, I wrote Melbourne stink.
Okay.
Oh,
But it was a
gee.
joke.
To be fair, we did on.
You were a
on
bit
the day,
stinky.
Yeah. No, I didn't take any malice from it.
Good. Okay,
No,
good.
well done.
Good.
You've
I
cleared
was
the
just-
air because it's an outrageous thing to say.
Yeah.
Two in the pink and Melbourne, stink.
is.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
sorry.
not you, mate.
It's not
No,
me.
It's not your
Out of
act. You got
character.
talked
I
into
know.
that by Steph.
I actually did. It was her idea.
I knew it would be. She's bad news. A few talking points through the week.
Yes.
Patrick Cripps slammed factually incorrect Caroline Wilson. The rush for AFL journalists and people covering the sport, that pundit-style human that feels like they can't get ahead of the game unless they're telling us something no one else has, must be exhausting for players.
Yeah, this is an interesting story. This one. Cara's had a couple wrong in her time, but she's normally pretty good. I like listening to Cara. And when she said that, it come across my mind. I'm like, that's interesting from Cripper. Like, that's a bit of a bold move.
On the night of the game?
Yeah, so I can see why he's come out because it's such a big topic.
Yeah.
Normally, players it's water off a duck's back. I don't think I've ever come out against anything that's factually incorrect with me. I mean, Grant Thomas said I was sooking and I went after him for that. But
Yeah, but that's different.
yeah, I've
That's-
never really come out and done a big Instagram post like that. But obviously,
But this feels worthwhile, doesn't it?
it's a
If you-
captain
if-
who's not staying at the hotel. It's a pretty big.
with
Yeah.
and he's at a boutique hotel with his wife. Oh well, come on, slow down. None of it happened.
So I don't mind it. He did well.
I
And
think he did really
apparently
well.
she called him and they had a good chat, and that's the way it should be done. To be honest.
She called him and said
Could've
she
been a-
hates football. She doesn't know why she's still part of the business.
Really?
No, I made that bit up. She talked about how hard it was being a woman come up through the ranks.
Hey.
We get it, Cara.
There could have been a fact check beforehand.
Yeah,
Yeah,
possibly.
absolutely.
Were
maybe-
it true, it would have been a big story.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she almost broke a big one.
She took a gamble.
She rolled the dice. She was wrong. We had a bloke, a Carlton member called Frank, turn up at the club on Monday to eyeball the players as they walked into training. Frank was heartbroken.
Okay.
You forget about the fans sometimes. I'm sure you don't as a captain of the club, but when you're travelling badly, the fans can seem a little bit more sort of sort of raveled than they really are, but they're so invested in the team.
Yeah, to be fair, sometimes you need that because when you are travelling poorly, inside the four walls is one of the safest places to be. And you focus on positives, and sometimes it's not going as bad as what it actually is within the walls. So to get a bit of reality isn't too bad. I'm not sure how this one went, but I've heard a couple of Carlton talkback calls and they've been pretty hilarious. So I'm presuming it's something similar. So it's not bad just to go out there and suss out, okay, that's what's really going on.
Yeah.
Both ways, and positive as well, because if it's going really well, you don't always focus on how well it actually is going. So getting feedback from fans is great.
Is the idea, though, that players are playing for the coach or playing for the fans or even to a degree playing for each other, which part of that is real?
The one I've never understood is they didn't come to play.
Yeah.
I don't
Like you
think-
turned up and decided you weren't going to play AFL that night.
Correct. And it's like you want to keep your spot. So if you're young, you just try until the final minute, even if it's 100 points. If you're old, you're trying to keep the club going. You're trying to bring your best football. So they didn't come to play. I just don't get that. I've only played 190 odd, but
Yeah.
I've never not come to play.
You didn't turn up and think, I might have tonight off.
Yeah. I've never done that.
Jay Clark once asked Mick Malthouse if the boys came to play.
Yeah,
He didn't take it well.
Who's Joe Clark?
Oh, why would you?
Triple M's Jay-Z.
I don't know him. Mid-season draft.
Jay Clark always has a little go at trying to get the wages right of the players.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's his big article
Likes
once
to
every year.
speculate over how much more people are earning than him.
He got me about 300 off.
Did he?
And then Jess, when I got home, was wondering where that 300
Yeah.
was
Yeah,
because
yeah.
obviously I didn't tell her I was on X amount.
Yeah, because Jay doesn't realise the friction that can cause at home.
Correct. So he guessed. He just did a big 50 guest list.
That's
we talked about it.
That's
Me and
what it
Jay-
should have been
we
called, the
talked-
big 50
The
guest
50
list.
guest list. And I'm sure he got one of them right.
Well, probably not. Mid-season draft Wednesday. Momentum's building for a future possibility of mid-season trading.
Okay.
I saw a bloke running around in the NRL across the weekend who had played for a different team the week before. I don't like that idea. I don't think that mid-season trading is where you want to go. How would you feel if you're running around with a bloke who, you know, is about to leave because he's cut a new deal in the middle of the year?
The biggest thing would be the intel that they can take to the other
Mm.
team, because we're not going to change our game plan based off someone leaving. I sit on the fence on this because I do like the AFL and the loyalty that is around the AFL and the fact that it doesn't really happen. Even trading at the end of the year, like there's only 20 odd players that get traded at the end of the year. So that's cool. That's like unique to our sport. But I also like the fact of a team that needs a ruck, and there's one team that's got 5 ruckmen on their list, and someone's just going away in the twos to be able to get a chance. So
Does your manager ever come to you in like July and go, "What do you reckon? You want me to give them a ring?"
not me, but I'm sure they do.
Mm.
Like I'm sure people who are wanting to explore their options at the end of the year are already talking to clubs. There's probably people that are going and they know where
And
they're,
they know
going
they're going.
already.
Yeah,
Where rugby league that would be announced.
yeah.
AFL, I don't mind that it's kept behind closed doors. I think Lockie
Yeah.
Henderson tried it once, and I think he told them at round 21 that he wasn't going to
Mm.
play at Carlton
Yeah, I
anymore, and he
remember
got booed in round 22. It's just a bit messy, so I don't mind the secretive. I didn't mind that Luke Jackson kept it secret for 10 weeks or however long he kept it secret.
No, I like it. Keep it to yourself, and that's just a real sort of message in life. If you've got a secret, shut up. We'll be back.
Max Gawn is with us this morning.
And we are working through the round with Max now as we look ahead to tonight, Melbourne versus Carlton. Friday night at the MCG. These are the ones that I would have thought you lived for.
Yeah, we don't get many of these to do, so excited. There's a couple of little logistical things that are annoying about a Friday night. One is the traffic to get to the G. Two, they close Brunton Avenue at like 5 p.m, so you've
Yeah.
got to get around the back of the G if you're coming from the southeastern suburbs. That's very annoying.
But not for you. You'd be on the bus, wouldn't you?
No,
Oh, you make your own way to the ground? You don't meet somewhere else and all come together?
that would also be a logistical nightmare, I reckon. But
Would it?
yeah.
I would have thought you all, even if you're just playing locally, you all gather somewhere
No,
and
we
arrive.
park underneath.
Do you?
And the 7:50 time slot's always interesting as well. You're home at around midnight tonight.
So what time are you at the ground for the 7:50
well, I'm
kickoff?
going to try and beat the Brunton Avenue closure, so I'm
So
going to
you're
try
gonna
and
go
get
10
there
to
around
5.
5. Yeah,
Smart, yeah.
So you've got nearly 3 hours of killing time there?
yeah. I'm really good at killing time. I'll talk to pretty
Everyone.
much everyone.
Everyone,
Do a couple of laps of the G.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, right. So you can do all that. You can kill the time. I hate killing time. It's one of my least favourite things to do. You're coming off 2 losses, Port and Freo. They were close games though.
Yeah, both by a kick. They were tough games. One was a Friday night game in Port, or Thursday or Friday, one of the two. No, we obviously have to bounce back and
I think it was
get a win.
Friday because you went over early, remember?
did,
and you had an
yeah.
extra night at the hotel.
Yeah, we were talking footy on a Tuesday. weren't
That's
we?
right,
Yeah.
we were.
Yeah.
That's right.
You feeling like you're beating Carlton tonight, although Carlton will be
Last
Tough.
year was almost very similar circumstances. Carlton needed to win. They were trying to bounce back from a couple of losses to make finals, and it was the closest game because he kicked a goal with 5 seconds to go.
That's
So
right.
We nearly
that's right.
broke. Me and my partner nearly broke up that night. We were at that game,
I'm surprised we
and
got through it.
I
be
had
honest.
to leave,
Yeah.
and we actually walked
walked
home separately.
Well,
Okay,
that's
yeah.
fine. I
That
think that's
game.
mature.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
we had to.
You need to just spend some time apart, come back
Yeah.
together,
Yeah,
and then make up, of course.
yeah.
So the teams when they're both going quite well match up quite well. So we're going to take Carlton's best, and
And they're going to take your best.
Yes.
Yeah.
Port v Hawthorn, Saturday 1:45 Adelaide Oval. Tom Jonas has been dropped to the
Sandful, yeah.
to the Sandful.
Yes.
You ever been dropped to the twos?
Technically, he didn't get dropped because he got
Yeah, just
suspended, and
not
now he's coming
selected.
back through the twos.
Yeah.
You could always use that one, but no, I obviously have. I've been dropped 12 times in my career.
Have you?
Yeah, I was mediocre when I first started.
I don't believe that.
Yeah.
Not a word of it.
We also had a plethora of ruckmen. We had Mark Jamar, who was an All-Australian.
Yeah.
So I was sort of in and out for a while. Played a lot of played about 50 VFL games.
Did you?
Yeah, won a VFL best. I know you didn't ask this. Won a VFL best and fairest in 2013.
Well done, Max.
Thank you.
Your CV.
That is really excellent.
Thank you.
That's great. That's great for your CV.
But it is a little bit harder doing it when you're 31, like Tom Jonas, or 32. I'm not sure how old he is, but
It would hurt, I would
Yeah.
imagine.
I don't think he'll be down there for long. I know Tom. He actually supplies me wine, some wine to the wine bar that I have.
Does he?
There you go.
With
He's got
his
a-
Adelaide connections.
He's got a vineyard, Hey Diddle.
Hey diddle.
Don't know why I'm giving him a plug.
No.
But he supplies what I am giving a plug, East End Wine Bar in Camberwell.
Yeah.
Which is a
Yeah.
beautiful
Good.
place to go
Thank
and
you.
have a glass of wine, particularly on a Friday night. Do you have the football on in the background there?
No footy.
It's just a
Yeah,
wine
it's one
bar.
of those
How
wine bars, yeah.
civilised. You need a little
Yeah.
jazz three-piece in the
Yeah,
corner.
sometimes a little bit of live music. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
nice.
Okay.
So you're tipping who there?
Yeah, sorry. Port.
Port, West Coast Collingwood. That could just be an absolute cricket score.
I mean, West Coast at their best is a really good matchup for Collingwood. They've had some pretty incredible games, but I don't think they're at their best at the moment.
I
so
wouldn't have thought so.
I'll go Collingwood.
Bulldogs Geelong, Marvel Stadium.
Normally at GHM, whatever it is,
GMBHA,
Yeah.
GMB.
doggies are normally down there, so they've got them at Marvel for once. So
Yeah.
let's cash in, Bulldogs.
Geelong are
Let's
having a funny year, aren't they?
go. I mean, we had a funny year after we won the flag as well. I think going back to back, credit to where Hawthorn and Geelong and Brisbane and those teams that did it in the past era. It's an incredibly hard thing to do. So I'm sure they'll gather them. So we got them in 2 weeks. So hopefully they have another couple of bad weeks and then
Yeah.
they peak for finals.
Gold Coast Adelaide in Darwin.
Yeah, back to back Darwin. They stay up there for the whole 2 weeks, don't they?
Yeah.
Who? Which one?
The Gold Coast.
Yeah. Giants Richmond on a Sunday.
I love what you're doing, Max. Giants, Richmond on a Sunday in Sydney. Tigers are funny old mob at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah, Giants in Sydney, not Canberra.
In Sydney, according to
Okay,
this.
let's go Giants.
Giants. Essendon v North. Now, this could be the game of the round. 4:40, the coveted Sunday evening slot.
Always at Marvel as well. The Sunday 4:40
Well,
slot.
the roof's on, so there'll be no breeze, except for walking down there through that shithole that is the Docklands. Essendon v North.
We get one game there a year, Melbourne.
And
We're very
do you love
lucky.
do you all arrive together, or do you park underneath at Marvel?
Speaking of the logistical nightmare to get to the G on a Friday night, Docklands is times that by 100.
Yeah,
Is
it's
it
worse.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
is hard. Just that,
Wurundjeri Way.
yeah, you got to go through. Well, for me, through the tunnel, and then get off at Montague, and Montague can be.
Montague's a nightmare.
Yeah, that's shocking.
They should shut that down.
I never know which change rooms we're in because we play there once a year. I don't know how to get
It's
around Marvel.
a maze under there.
Yeah.
You feel like a rat in an experiment. It's
I
like-
went under there in a golf cart once.
Yeah.
Okay.
For M1, remember that disastrous festival that Triple M had?
Yeah,
They had
like
like
Rumba.
a tea party from Canada headlining.
Still doesn't explain the golf cart.
Well, I was doing stand-up in one room in there, which
Yes.
was horrendous as well. There was a half pipe. There was all sorts of stuff going on.
Did you get on the half pipe?
I did get on the half pipe.
Was that,
Turns out.
was that the stand-up routine?
Followed by telling a few jokes. I'll say North by 6.
Yeah. Okay.
What are you
right,
doing?
Loz?
I'll go with you.
Oh, thank
There
you,
you
Max.
go.
Mate,
Okay.
good luck tonight.
Yeah.
Play well. Melbourne Carlton, Friday night at the MCG. It'll be an absolute belter.
Max Gawn, thanks for joining us. We'll chat to you next time.
The Marty Sheargold Show.